Oh boy, I don't think I'm ready to say goodbye to the Torchwood Big Finish range yet, especially if the releases are gonna be this bloody good. Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. TARDIS and welcome to another Big Finish Torchwood review where we're in the final chapters of the current monthly or bi-monthly Torchwood Big Finish audio range, where we've got a handful of releases which are going to culminate in May 2026's Farewell, written by Joseph Lidster, which is essentially going to close out the Torchwood monthly range. Now I'm pretty sure that this won't be the end of Torchwood proper at Big Finish, but it is definitely the end of an era, with Farewell being the 100th release in the range. But for now, we're going to be talking about entry 98 with Torchwood Everyone's Dead on Floor 3, starring Samuel Barnett as Norton Folgate. For those of you who don't know, Norton was a member of Torchwood 1 back in the 1950s, and as a result, this is a period story. This is set in 1954 London, and is effectively a whodunit mystery. The primary setting is an office block, specifically on Floor 2, which is home to the Matthews and Small legal firm, run by Robert Matthews, played by Julian Bleach, who you may remember as Davros from the revived series of Doctor Who. Putting the Small in Matthews and Small is Timothy Small, played by Cassius Hackworth, who is the nephew of Robert. You've also got William Ledbury, played by Alistair Tuvey, and Angela Carr, played by Aruhan Galiva. And one day they're in Matthews and Small, everything is fine, everything is normal, and then the screaming starts upstairs. The group go to investigate Floor 3, only to find that everyone's dead and the only person there is Norton Folgate, who is claiming to investigate what has just happened. But how exactly Norton got there, how he got there before the people downstairs, implying that he was there when the incident happened, it's a big mystery, and Everyone's Dead on Floor 3 is effectively a whodunit. Or is it?
We suspected it was a secret organization.
Secrets mean sealed lips, Ledbury. Nevertheless, I should have been informed of any risks posed by an experimental weapons laboratory on my doorstep.
Laboratory? This is just an office, isn't it?
Exactly, just filing and pens being pushed around, desks, no big chief with a separate office. A clearinghouse? For what?
We're as in the dark as you are.
None of you had any interaction with your neighbors.
We'd be dead if we had, wouldn't we?
Uncertain, young Bill. Someone attacked Harkness Industries. And you want to know what the weapon was?
I demand you inform us.
Time. Time has been unleashed on Floor 3. No, look at the bodies. Some are skeletons, some are dust. Bodies being pulled in two directions by time.
Time? How can time be used as a weapon?
Those screams, they were horrible.
Come on, Tim. Let's get you home.
Interesting. Angela's the first to suggest leaving the premises.
So I went into Everyone's Dead on Floor 3 expecting a fun mystery thriller. You know, you've got Norton Folgate, who's essentially this really effective chameleon-like presence who is able to size people up very quickly and is able to flatter them or appeal to them, essentially get them on side for whatever his own scheme is. And while that is definitely true, the first half of Everyone's Dead on Floor 3 is basically Norton interviewing people one by one, catching them on the back foot, trying to get them to expose their secrets or any potential motivation as to why they'd want everyone on Floor 3 dead, trying to unearth their trauma, unearth the skeletons in their closets, particularly with Robert, who is keeping the business affairs of what's happening at Matthews and Smalls away from his co-workers, or should I say away from his underlings, because he is the boss effectively. All the while you have all of these bodies on Floor 3 who have effectively been destroyed by a time bomb. Not a, ticking clock bomb, but a bomb which harnesses time and has aged the people upstairs disproportionately or have caused them to regress, but not exclusively. So they're finding bodies where one half has been aged and the other half is basically like a baby, but they've not separated. There's some really effective, gruesome imagery here. I do think it takes a while for Everyone's Dead on Floor 3, written by Alfie Shaw, by the way. I should have mentioned that earlier. Alfie Shaw, brilliant writer. He's basically the spearhead of the recent resurgence of the 11th Doctor and Big Finish with the 11th Doctor and Valerie. gallery, and he clearly sees the potential of the lawyer's office as a dramatic setting. His first story in the Victory of the Doctor box set, Didn't You Kill My Mother, written by John Dorney, but it's overseen by Alfie Shaw effectively, is basically a testament to this. But yeah, Everyone's Dead on Floor 3, it takes a while for it to really show its hand. It is basically locked into the structure of Norton interviewing people one by one, and the cast are really good, and we do learn some interesting things about them, including their political leanings, what their social status is within the office, and the debauchery they get up to whenever they clock off. But then the second half of Everyone's Dead on Floor 3 really kind of dramatically unravels in a really compelling way, where you effectively have this idea of this group of people who have been shaped in different ways by World War II in the previous decade, and they haven't really gotten over it, understandably. Many of them have been really deeply traumatized by the experience, including Robert, who has served in other conflicts before World War II. And what you've got in Matthews and Smalls is effectively a dramatic powder keg. You've effectively got this group of mismatched people here who have bottled up their trauma, who have bottled up these identities within themselves, creating effectively a time bomb, leading to a really gruesome fate for one of the staff members and a harrowing confession sequence from Robert. And I think that Julian Bleach, in terms of performances, in terms of acting, is the MVP of this story. I think he's incredible, particularly in that confession scene. I also really liked the ambiguous note that the story ends on as to whether or not Norton will continue to try and do the right thing, or whether he will break these cycles of repression. Though I do think that ending kind of dramatically undercuts the story a little bit. I don't know, I kind of need to think on it a little bit more. Dramatically, it kind of works, but in terms of the logistics of the story, it means that Alfie Shaw has effectively written himself out of having to have a conclusion to the story, which may rub some listeners up the wrong way. Your mileage will obviously vary here, but for me, the journey was the important part, not necessarily the destination. And I think Everyone's Dead on Floor 3 is probably my favourite Torchwood range release since Rictus, which came out in March 2025, and I give it a really, really strong recommendation, and I'm looking forward to the next Torchwood range release, which comes out in March 2026, the penultimate chapter in the monthly range, Curtain, written by David Llewellyn, which I'm really interested about because they seem to have recast the role of Billis Manger, having been previously played by the late Murray Melvin, is now being played here by Colin Ryan, so that's an interesting development. But yeah, that's my review of Torchwood Everyone's Dead on Floor 3. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff, and folks, I will see you all next time.